What is going on, everybody? Zionic here, and in today's video, I'm bringing Lantern, Ferrothorn, and Jellicent. Have you guys ever been in Go Battle League, faced off against an opponent, and you're like, dang, that was a good team? This is what happened to me today. I'm sad to say I don't remember the trainer's name, but I faced someone earlier this morning using this team, and I'm like, I gotta switch. This team looks like a lot of fun. So, let me know what you guys think of this team. Shout out to that random battler that I faced this morning, and let's get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle. Now, this is a very unconventional team. Typically, I run ABB lines, but this is an ABA team, and it's very interesting. We have Lantern on the lead versus Registeel here in game 1. Registeel obviously is going to do well against the whole team, so it's going to take team effort to take this thing down. So we're going to go ahead and build up to the charge move, but they throw the Zap Cannon right away, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. It's only going to do neutral damage, not too much, and we're going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Pump right here to do as much neutral damage as we can, and then we're going to look to swap out to try to catch a Focus Blast. I'm guessing they might try to Focus Blast early, so I'm going to go ahead and try to catch it right here, but they did a good job of holding it, and now I think this is actually going to be a Zap Cannon, so I will give up a shield right here. Again, this is a team effort to take down. So now we see a Jellicent mirror fight, and I get some lag. Very frustrating, I know, but I'm like, if I fall behind on fast moves, I swear I need to get this Shadow Ball off, as it will be doing super effective damage, and I need all the damage that I can get. So it does land, which is beautiful, and it was a CMP tie, which is even better, so thank goodness we were able to throw the charge move right there. Otherwise, it would have been a flop of a game. Now, we do go down to fast moves, but that's okay. We're going to come in with Ferrothorn and load up on energy. I am currently hard reading that they have double waters in the back, so a Registeel double water, so maybe a Pelipper or a Swampert in the back. So I will go ahead and go for the Power Whip right away to force a shield here from Jellicent before he gets off a Shadow Ball, because I don't need energy on Ferrothorn if it is in fact double water. So let's see what they decide to come back in with. It is going to be the Registeel. So this is going to be a very tough situation. We're going to go ahead and load up on some energy and go for the Thunder right away. Thankfully, Thunder does neutral damage here against Registeel, so we'll be forcing a shield, and we do get it. That is beautiful. Now, they came in with Registeel. What does this tell us? It is, in fact, double water in the back, but it's just a matter of what water is it. So we're going to go ahead and shield right there. And we're going to just keep loading up on energy and throw the Power Whip now, trying to force that final shield, and then we will swap out into our Lantern, which is very close to a charge move. So we're going to go ahead and do one more fast move, swap out, throw the Thunderbolt, but they swap into Pelipper. So it was in fact double water in the back, but Pelipper, oh, boom! One-shots the Pelipper right there, and now Registeel's between a Dolphin and a rock-hard plant. That's a bad joke, but Focus Blast takes me out, and that's okay because I should be able to get to the Thunder in time, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. So, again, Registeel, tough to face off against, but it was a team effort, and their backline was very weak to the charge moves that I did have on my team, so it paid off very well. Good game, very well played. All right, moving into game 2, we have Lantern versus Escavalier. I'm sure some of you in the comments were like, what do you do against Escavalier? Well, I go into Jellicent and pray for the best. So we're going to go ahead. No, you guys will see how I handle it. We see a Lantern come in, which is a very tough situation right here because Lantern's obviously going to be taking out my Jellicent. But if they decide to no-shield the Shadow Ball, which they do, I'm going to go ahead and go into double shields on Jellicent. It's really, and I'm going to go for Bubble Beam as well to lower the attack right here. Maybe even get a shield if they weren't counting correctly. No, they were counting correctly. That is unfortunate for me, but I am in a good position right now. I will double shield and delay Switch Clock as much as possible because I can't have Ferrothorn aligned to Escavalier. So we're going to go ahead and double shield right here. This is tough. It's unfortunate, but this is the best thing I can do. We're going to go ahead and load up on energy and swap back into Lantern, drawing out the Escavalier. Now, we put them in a false sense of security. Escavalier, right? With 2 shields versus a Lantern, you don't need to shield. Ah, they do. That is unfortunate. But thankfully, Lantern is so tanky that it can survive one drill run. It's going to be very close, but at least we got the Escavalier out on the field, and the drill run we are able to survive, which means we get to another Thunderbolt. Do you give up 2 shields here, though? This is a win-con situation, so they can go ahead and just let it go, and thankfully they do. This is huge for us, as we're able to get it down to 1 HP in a dream, so we're going to come in with Ferrothorn now to soak the drill run. Remember, our Jellicent still has loaded energy, so we're going to go ahead and soak this drill run. And we are going to hard read that, once again, there's going to be double water in the back, seeing that we saw the mirror fight. So let's see what is going to be in the back. In comes Lanturn right here, so it's definitely got to be another water. My guess is going to be Jellicent, but we will have to see, as we will be resisting the Hydro Pump. And we're going to go ahead and farm down. It's actually going to be a Ludicolo, so very interesting. We're going to go ahead and go for double Power Whip here. One will force a shield, otherwise it'll take him out, and it's going to be a good game. So there goes the first one. We're going to go ahead and throw the second one, and then remember our Jellicent does have Shadow Ball. Now, this is going to be the tough thing. I forgot where Shadow Ball was, and I switch and I click Bubble Beam right away. You guys saw the Shadow Ball. This is an absolute fail on my side. I am yelling at my phone right now, and now I'm racing to get to the Shadow Ball in time, and I still get to it, thankfully. But that was just a brain fart on my side, if I'm being honest. But we were able to make it happen and farm down. Now, Lanturn, we're still alive. One fast move. Oh my gosh, we had half an HP in a dream right there. That was way too close. I had the win con. You guys saw it. If I just click Shadow Ball, it's over. But I messed up and clicked Bubble Beam, but good game. All right, we got Pelipper on the lead. Very positive for us, so we will see the Lanturn come in. So we're going to go ahead and lock that thing down with the Ferrothorn. Now, this is like a worst case situation for my opponent, because having a lead of Pelipper and a Lanturn lockdown by a Ferrothorn means I am hard breaking their team right now, and I can just fully farm down and load up on energy. We don't know what's going to be in the back, but if it's going to be another water, maybe it's a triple water team, then obviously Ferrothorn's going to do very well, but I should be able to farm down. Yeah, okay, they didn't get to the Thunderbolt in time. That's okay. Now we do see a Lucario come in to load up on energy, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Thunder right here to apply as much shield pressure as we can, but we're still looking very good. They decided to let it go. Boom. Okay. All right. Jellicent's going to come in. All we need to do is shield the Shadow Ball, because Lanturn can take out Pelipper with just fast moves alone because of that water flying typing. So we will shield, and it is in fact going to be a Shadow Ball. So that's a good game, very well played, and they decide to surrender right there. Just kind of really hard countered them on the lead and safe swap. So there's not a lot they could have done. All right, we got Lanturn versus Berserker on the lead. Berserker's another Pokemon that can core break this team. So we're just going to have to stay in on the lead right here and just apply as much pressure with Thunderbolt. Now, since they went for the charge move right away, I'm just going to guess this is foul play, but it is in fact close combat, which is unfortunate. Still does a lot of damage, and they're deciding to stay in, which tells me that they probably have double water in the back. When you see these situations of steal leads, is most likely the case, especially since they're shielding, which means Ferrothorn is going to do very well. Now, we're going to go ahead and shield right here. I want to take this to the 1-0 or take switch advantage. So let's see what they decide to do. They decided to come in with Pelipper. Now, I make a mistake and decide to stay in, and I CMP tie. I either should have thrown the Thunderbolt right away, or what I should have done is come right in with Ferrothorn. Because now I'm in an awkward situation. My Lanturn is energy dry, and I have no HP, which means I'm going to go down to Shadow Claws. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out right away into the Ferrothorn, I believe, depending on what I see. It's going to be Jellicent. Yeah, I'm going to swap out right away into Ferrothorn because they are switch locked in. So we're just going to go ahead and throw this Power Whip right here. Now, Berserker has a little bit of energy, but honestly, it's within range of a Thunder or a Shadow Ball on my side. Now, we do land that Power Whip, which is great. I can't give up a shield right here. Obviously, I am concerned about foul play and close combat, so we're just going to have to soak the Shadow Ball, and here comes the Berserker now. We're going to throw the Power Whip. I don't want them to get to a close combat or foul play without me getting pressure on that shield, and we do get the shield, which is perfect. So now they're going to be forced to throw energy, otherwise I'll get to another charge move right here. And this works out perfectly for us, as we can come in safely with Jellicent right here and get to a Shadow Ball to close the game out, as the backline Jellicent is extremely low. And if we need to, we can sack swap into Lanturn right here, but we still have a 1-0 shield situation, so things are still looking very good for us. I will overload on Jellicent just a bit in case I need to race to the charge move, because I don't exactly remember how much health it has, but I should be okay. I'm about 3 hexes away from the next Shadow Ball. So this is looking perfectly fine for me. Really comfortable situation, as we can do 1, 2, and okay, 3 takes it out. So that's going to be a good battle. Very well played to my opponent right there. All right, moving to the next battle, we have Lanturn on the lead versus Escavalier again. Team effort, let's do it. Going straight into the Jellicent right now. They decide to come back in with a Lanturn, which is again a very tough situation. Now, This is one of those interesting things where before I said if they let the Shadow Ball go, I'll look to try to take switch. This time they shielded, which is very interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and decide to shield myself right here in the ones, and I'm going to look to go for another Shadow Ball. If I can get 2 shields from my opponent in this situation, I think we're looking pretty good. Now, I wasn't expecting them to shield on the first Shadow Ball, so I could have gone for Bubble Beam there, but honestly, just go for the Shadow Balls in these situations. They decided to let that one go. So now I'm actually in a really unique situation where I think I'm going to let this go through, and I'm going to come in and load up with Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn with that Thunder is going to apply so much pressure, and I don't need to worry about shielding right here on my Ferrothorn from the Lantern. So having nearly max energy is actually going to be really advantageous for me, because Escavalier can't basically one-tap, right, my Ferrothorn. So we're going to apply a lot of pressure right here with Thunder. They decide to come in with Jellicent, and I just click Thunder. I should be clicking Power Whip. This is, again, another misclick by me, but that's okay. The Thunder still does super effective damage. They decide to swap out into Escavalier, so we're going to go ahead and go for the Thunder. Again, surviving pretty well right here, as this will do a lot of damage, and then we will swap into Lantern. Now, they decided to let that go through, which is perfect. I'm going to no-shield this. It could be Acid Spray, but it is going to be the Drill Run, but Lantern can tank it right there. I can fully farm down now as long as I give up a shield right here, which is what I'm exactly going to do. I'm going to go ahead and shield, and then farm down. Had that been Acid Spray, obviously I don't want to shield that and then get hit with the Drill Run, because that would take me out, which is why I decided to no shield the first one, and we will see the Lantern come, or the Jellicent come back in. So this Thunderbolt will be forcing the final shield, and then it's going to be a race to the charge move, but I have so much energy right here that it is going to be a good game, very well played. So again, team effort right there, and Ferrothorn with energy with Escavalier leads is really advantageous, like we saw in the mid game right there. Alright, moving to the next battle, we have Lantern versus Jellicent on the lead. Very positive for me. And we will see them swap out into Escavalier, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Jellicent. Now, this is an extremely late swap on my end. A bit slow in my battles today. I've already clicked Bubble Beam instead of Hex. I clicked Thunder against Jellicent. I came in Jellicent late right here, so really not the best showcase of like top tier decisions, as I'm kind of fumbling stuff around, but we'll make it through just like Jar Jar Binks does. So we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and shield this one and go for another Shadow Ball. If they want to let this go through, or if they want to double shield, so be it. I don't know what they have in the back, but clearly they are very fearful of my Lantern, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball now to get that final shield or just take it out. And if they do decide to double shield, which they do, I will actually be okay with, because I can get to the Shadow Ball in time. So, should I double shield myself? I decide to let it go. Drill Run's going to take me out. I'm going to go ahead and come in with Lantern and load up on energy. Reason being, I still have a really good matchup against Jellicent with Ferrothorn, and Lantern right here can fully farm down with Spark like we saw before, and they won't be able to get to a second charge move. So I want all this energy on Lantern. Now let's see what they decide to come in with. It is going to be a Ferrothorn themselves. So this is actually going to be a very tough situation. What I need to do is try my best to catch the charge move right here. It's 4 to Power Whip, so it's going to be 2, there's 3, there's 4. I'm going to try to catch it, and they don't throw it. Now, they are in another tough situation. Thunder and Power Whip really don't do much damage in the mirror fight, as you guys are going to see right here. It's honestly not that much. And they can't just swap out into Jellicent, because they're going to get deleted by my Ferrothorn. So they are forced to stay in this matchup at a slight disadvantage, because I'm a bit ahead on health, but they are slightly ahead on energy. But either way, I'm locking them in right here where their Ferrothorn cannot hurt my Lantern. Sorry, and my Lantern will be able to take out the Jellicent. Now we see them swap into Jellicent, which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and go for Power Whips now. This does massive super effective damage, and they're going to have to get to the Shadow Ball in time to take me out. I think it's actually going to be very close. Do I get to it? No, I don't. Now, this is a tough situation. We have to trust in Lantern to close this game out, as Shadow Ball is going to take me out. So we're going to commit to the full farm down. We can't throw a charge move right here, period. And so they decide to throw on 4. So this is going to be a Bubble Beam. If it's Shadow Ball, then I miscounted, but it is in fact Bubble Beam, which we survive. And that means we can get this Hydro Pump off versus the Ferrothorn to close the game out. Even though Bubble Beam did lower our attack, it is going to be enough resisted damage to take out Ferrothorn, and that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right, moving to the next one, we have Lanturn on the lead versus Jellicent again. Pretty positive matchup for us. We see them swap into a Ferrothorn, so there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. I'm going to swap to Catch, and we get it this time. Our only answer to a Ferrothorn safe swap is the Mirror Fight, and the only really good answer to a Ferrothorn safe swap is catching the Power Whip on 4 Bullet Seeds, which is exactly what we were able to do right there. Now we're going to overload on energy, hoping we can sneak through a fast move, but they're doing the exact same thing, and I'm noticing they're going to be winning CMP tie against me. So this is going to be kind of tough. I don't know what they have in the back, but obviously Lanturn and Jellicent can still do well against their Jellicent. It's all a matter of what they have in the back. Now Thunder is obviously the move you want to go in this mirror match right now. And we keep CMP tying and they keep winning, so they definitely have more attack than me. Which is unfortunate because I could have really used that in this situation. But we're going to go ahead and go for this next Thunder right here. Just get it as low as possible. And then we are going to be in actually a very tough situation. But they decide to swap out into Mawile and fast move me down. This is now a saving grace. Had they stayed in with their own Ferrothorn, it would have been tough. But now we're looking very good with Jellicent right here, as we can do a lot of damage with Shadow Ball, put a lot of shield pressure on, and they decide to no shield, so that's fine by me. We're going to go ahead and farm down. Now this is likely going to be a play rough coming through. We don't need to shield it. I need to save my shields for Lanturn to close this game out. And we will be able to farm down with Hex. And now they decide to come in with Jellicent, so we're going to go ahead and swap out, go for a Thunderbolt right away. Now I think I banked 1 fast move less than a Shadow Ball there on my own Jellicent, so I need to be cognizant of that come the end game right here. And this was far too quick. I think this, I'm going to call this as not a Shadow Ball, and it wasn't. It was a Bubble Beam. That's a huge call right there, and we do see them swap out into the Ferrothorn now, so we're going to be able to get to this Thunder and force the final shield from my opponent, putting them in a really tough situation because they really need their Ferrothorn to kind of take out my Lanturn, but I still have 2 shields. So again, that call on the Bubble Beam, I think, is what won this game right here. And yeah, that basically won the game. So we're just going to go ahead and just commit to the hard farm down, as we will be able to shield 2 Power Whips, and they are locked in right here, which means I will be able to farm down with Spark and then Thunderbolt the Jellicent, and then swap into my own Jellicent, 1 more Hex and Shadow Ball to close the game out. So good game to my opponent. Really tough one right there, but I think catch and charge move on Ferrothorn, on the safe swap, and then calling the Bubble Beam, like I said earlier, I think was a pretty big play. Good battle. All right, moving to the next one, we have Lanturn on the lead versus Ferrothorn. Okay, so this is tough. We got to go straight into Jellicent. I'm sure some of you have been like, cool, you showed Escavalier, but what about Ferrothorn leads? Well, you just have to go straight into Jellicent. This is all you can do right here. Put as much pressure on with Shadow Ball as you can, because what is likely in the back is going to be water-type Pokemon. With a Ferrothorn lead, think about it. They're weak to fighting. They're weak to fire. They're going to have Swampert, Jellicent, Pelipper. They're going to have those Pokemon in the back. Whiscash. So Ferrothorn, in my own Ferrothorn, is win condition. So we do get the attack drop as well with Bubble Beam. So now I'm just going to come in and hard farm with my own Ferrothorn right here. We know the mirror match, they don't do any damage to each other, and it just got Bubble Beam debuffed. So the best thing I can do here is just load up on energy, as Thunder's not doing anything. These Bullet Seeds are doing enough where I can take them down. If I'm at 50% HP, so be it. But I think they're kind of weak in the back to water, and we're going to find out. Thunder, again, not doing too much damage. We're just going to load up. But I decided to throw the Power Whip. Anyways, I want to maintain some health right here, as Power Whip will be enough to take it out, and they let it go. Let's see what they decide to come in with. It is going to be a Jellicent, so they are extremely weak to Ferrothorn in the back, which is obviously very advantageous for my Ferrothorn with 2 shields and about 50% HP, so it was a good call right there. We do get a shield. We're just going to go ahead and go for another Power Whip right away. Just put on the max pressure. If they have a Pelipper in the back as well, it's game over because we have our own Lanturn. Now, they decide to let that go. So there must be something else. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. I'm thinking it might be Whiscash or Swampert now, since they're deciding to save a shield right here. And sure enough, it is going to be a Swampert in the back. So that's going to be a good game. They're not going to be able to get to 2 Hydro Cannons in time because I'm just that far ahead on energy. So I will be able to force a shield and get to 1 more Power Whip to close this game out. But they decided to surrender. So good game, very well played. But ultimately, sacrificing the Jellicent right there was kind of the play, loading up with Ferrothorn. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This team was really impressive. Very unconventional line for myself, as I typically run ABB lines, but this was an ABA, and it worked out really well. So shout out to that random battler, or if a content creator made it and I'm not aware, I'm sure you guys will let me know down in the comments. But hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.